Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax. Except you, that person driving. Sit up and keep your eyes on the road. Your ears, though, can still listen as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
Me, Rob. Let's go win another playoff game.
Let's win another playoff game. That first one felt pretty good. We might as well do that again, right?
Hells yeah.
And what better than beating the Eagles? I mean, you know, one of our, probably tied for our most hated rivalry with the Cowboys there, so...
Yeah, it's right up there. I don't know who I loathe more.
You know what? I think I hate the Cowboys more, but I hate the Eagles fans more, if that makes sense.
It does. I mean, I'm also one of those weird guys who's a Mets fan and also a Devils fan, as long as being a Giants fan. And just boo on you, Philly.
Boo, Philly. Boo on you and your cheesesteaks.
No one in
we
Philly
come
knows
from a place
where to
with
get
real
a cheesesteak.
steaks. But so today, folks, we're going to talk about the keys to victory for the offense on the the game here coming up, because obviously we played these guys twice already. Once with our starters, once with our backups. So I don't want to count the second one too much there, but it's an interesting thing because I can't remember the last time we faced a team three times in a season since the dreaded post Plexico Burress shooting himself in the foot incident, when we faced the Eagles, ironically, again 3 times. So, it's been a couple times now with the Cowboys and a couple times with the Eagles, but it's been quite a number of years, and partially because we never get to the playoffs lately, it seems.
Yeah, what was it, 2011, when the Eagles won the wild card, and then they beat the Giants, who were the divisional winners.
This is 2008.
Oh yeah,
this is right after the first one. This was 2008. I mean, that's like one of the losses that I just hate talking about in the playoffs more than any others. It's right up there with, I believe, 2002 when we lost to the San Francisco 49ers, and they came back to beat us. Like, that was one of those ones that we should have won easily, and we just let them back in, let them back in, and let them back in. So, but let's go over here a little bit as far as the offense key and victories. But before we do that, I do want to also go over some Giants news and Giants stories we kind of hear over time. We've given you guys a couple updates as far as some of the Giants coordinators and how some of them may be, potentially leaving us because they've been offered interview opportunities elsewhere. Some of the news coming out, so the Lions offensive coordinator has come out and said he is not going to leave. He's going to stay with Detroit. So there takes away one of the candidates. Also hearing that Jim Harbaugh is going to stay in Michigan. So I guess he didn't get in trouble, because it's amazing how all of a sudden they're like, oh, Jim Harbaugh, let's look at his program. He's like, maybe I will go back to the NFL. But now that he's out of trouble, supposedly, one of the other guys that I think was like a co-offensive coordinator or something like that got in trouble instead. He's like, oh, yeah, I guess I'll stay here after all. He's just... it doesn't take him genius to figure out by my tone my thoughts on Jim Harbaugh. I'm not too big a fan here. But yeah, we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on that stuff as it goes, because, I think both of us definitely don't want to lose either one of our coordinators, that's for sure.
No, definitely not Wink. I mean,
yeah,
neither one of them, but
Wink's
the two.
Yeah, no, you and I are definitely in agreement, because Kafka is great at what he's been doing this year, but at the same point, Brian Daboll is an offensive mind. So you don't want to lose the defensive mind, because then now you have one offensive mind and a second offensive mind, and now you got to try to find a defensive mind. It's a little harder to replace a guy like Wink.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially the way he's played this year. Well, coach this year, he hasn't played.
Yeah. So some interesting stats too, though, as we're going into Philly. So the Giants have not won in Philly in nearly a decade. The last time we beat them, first time we lost to them in this streak was 2014. So from 2014 all the way now to 2023, our last loss against them, we have not won a game. That's pretty bad. But here's another interesting stat in this line here. The Giants are 6-0, undefeated, versus number 1 seeds in the playoffs since 1990. And guess what seed the Philadelphia Eagles are?
Numero uno.
Exactly. So, it's an
only got that
opportunity
spot.
for us there.
They only got that spot because they wound up beating our preseason team.
That's true. That's true. You got to wonder if the Cowboys didn't look past the Commanders, because I've said it on the show before. I think that's what happened is the Cowboys just flat out looked past the Commanders. If that didn't happen, and the Eagles, had somehow lost against our starters, we would have had the Cowboys number 1 seed. There's no winning for us as Giant fans in that scenario, though.
No.
So another bit of news here. So Isaiah Hodgins, who's been our surprise, number 2 receiver in the latter part of the season here, shared a picture on Instagram of his ankle prior to the Viking game. And, oh my God, this thing is like bad. Like, this is like not even like, here's a little bruise here. Like, it's like someone
swollen.
like cut open his ankle, stuck an apple underneath it, and then stitched it back up again. That's, minus the stitches part, that's what it looks like. It's bad.
Yeah.
Ooh. I give credit to that guy because he was on fire all game long, and to play with that kind of injury to what had to be pain. I don't care what you're putting yourself on drug-wise and all. You're going to get some pain from that. So, kudos to him for being able to get through that.
I mean, good news as well. He was yesterday. I didn't get the report today, but yesterday, Tuesday, he was limited in practice. So
Yes.
he should be playing this game.
Yes. No. Yeah. I fully expect, based on what I'm seeing, every single Giant to play in this game. So as the week, winds down and we get closer to game time, obviously we'll give everybody updates as they come. But yeah, no, this is one of those weeks that, again, same as last week, it's the playoffs. If you're able to play, if you have 2 arms and 2 legs and they're both functioning, you're going to play. That's just the way it goes. Because if you lose this game, your season's over. And the guys care because the guys want to win because they're competitive. But it's also they want their money. every game they play is another game check. Yeah, every game they play another contract. Yes, so it's gonna be a lot of fun here. I think there in this game to see what happens. But before we get too much into the keys here, I do want to give one other side note that I saw, because I saw a report here that the coaches got together for Philly and watched the game between us and the Vikings. Now that's not unusual, obviously. That's typical. You're not playing. Whoever wins this game, you're going to play against. Makes sense. Let's watch the game. What was surprising is Coach Sirianni quoted as saying, "I was kind of craving Pizza Hut stuffed pizza. I hadn't had that in a while, so that's not something I get at home. So we had that." Now, I got to give kudos to Dan Benton of the Giants Wire USA Today, because that man ripped him a new one for suggesting that is a delectable treat. So here's what Dan Benton said. He said, "It's probably something he doesn't get at home because his family prefers flavor over cardboard. But it does seem very on brand for the Eagles as an organization." And let's be honest, Pizza Hut is likely the best pizza you can get your hands on in Philly.
I was about to say. Well,
Then he says that the clincher for me, he says, maybe as the Giants coaching staff goes over Eagles film this week, they can enjoy some steakums with cheese. Dan Benton, you classic man. You just totally nailed that assessment of that situation. So let's go over those those keys to victory here. But before we do, I got to welcome anybody who's watching, because this is our very first live show. So we've been doing a podcast now since about August, very early on, as the first week of preseason, I think is when we started, right, Rob?
Yeah, first week.
Yeah.
Maybe a week prior.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you're talking, just a few months in, but this is our very first live and our video program here on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and we're going to be adding more as we go as well. So if you're tuning in for the first time on video, welcome. If
Welcome
you
aboard.
are listening to the podcast, because this will also be later on put on the podcast, and you want to watch things, if you prefer watching, take a look. Plus, that just came out really creepy.
Yeah.
So let's see. We do have our first comment here. Anastasia says, "What a great team, full of knowledge and talent."
Oh,
Oh, thank you,
You.
Anastasia. You get $20 in the mail.
cha-ching.
So anybody that wants to comment as we're going, feel free, comment along. If you have any questions for us, put that down in the comments section. We're happy to answer any questions as we go, because chances are, if you're thinking it, somebody who's listening to the podcast later on, as we put it up on, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other, available platforms there, they may be thinking the same question. So go for it if you got any questions. So let's get into those keys to victory here. So very first key I got to go into is, this is going to sound a little weird, I think, and a little obvious, but I'm going to say it. The Giants got to put up points.
Yeah. Yes, that's 100%. And that's not only just a single key, because that's multiple keys tied into a big key. That's like a master key, if you will.
I know. I went right for the
You went
gusto.
right for it.
Right there for the gusto. But here's why I'm saying that, because I think we all know that the Eagles have a possibility of putting up a high level of points in some games. I mean, let's be honest, they destroyed us the very first game we played them. They put up 48 points on our defense. We'll get into the next episode as far as what the defense has to do to victory. But the offense is going to have to potentially help the defense out in this one, because of the fact that this is a very high-flying offense at times. At times. They've also looked really bad sometimes. We don't know which one we're to get till Saturday, obviously. But the offense has to be able to put up points to try to keep track with them.
Yeah, hopefully those Eagles are full of rust right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, hopefully also Jalen Hurts' shoulder isn't the best still. I'll take that kind of victory still. I don't care. I'm not above yet. So why don't you go with another key to victory, Rob?
I mean, obviously, we're going to go talking about DJ. He's got to play stellar like he did in his last game. He was damn near perfect.
Yes.
So
Yes.
everyone's given his slops through the year. He went through a little slump, but if you look at the way he's played the past month, he's been absolutely lights out. He once again put 300 yards on the board through the air against Minnesota. Granted, it wasn't the best secondary that he was facing against, but he needs to play near to perfection if the Giants are going to win this game.
Yeah. And, I'm hearing all kinds of numbers on his salary. I mean, remember a couple weeks ago, it feels like at least, maybe it was made a month ago or so, we were talking about how people are saying he's probably going to get about $25 million a year or something for 3 years. Now the numbers are going up and up because he's played so much better lately. But the question still is he playing better because of who they played? Or is he actually playing better?
I think if you look at the way he's actually played, he is playing better. The stats don't always align to how well he's played, but his QB IQ has been spot on, and he's making right decisions. And that's the first thing you need to teach a quarterback, or you can't really teach a quarterback that sometimes, the intuition of when to run, when to throw the ball. Like, what was it? They were in Minnesota in the playoff game. It was 4th and 2, and our coaching staff went, DJ, you're going to get the first down. Like, scramble.
Yeah.
And he made the right play and got, 9 yards off that play?
Yeah.
So, he's doing the right things. He's one of the first QBs. Well, he's the first QB in Giants history to have as many rushing yards, throwing yards, and touchdowns the way he's played this year. Also, fun stat is this is the first time in modern Super Bowl era that two quarterbacks with the top 5 rushing yards are playing each other in the playoffs, in the divisional round.
And I expect to see them both running like crazy. So,
yes.
But I'm going to spin off your key to victory here for a second. And one of the things I'm going to say is Daniel Jones has to run the entire game. And what I mean by that is not that he can't pass the ball. I don't want people misunderstanding what I'm suggesting here. My issue is when I watch the game, I feel like the first half, it's Jones running, and then pass, because it opens it up, and then Jones running again, and then pass, Jones running. Second half comes, they just stop running the ball with him a lot of games. And that's a key to victory right there. They have to run the ball because Jones, one of the things about him, besides the fact that his legs are obviously a great asset to him and the team overall, is that him running opens up his passes. Because now you have guys having to watch him to make sure he doesn't take off. Because if you cover everybody and you got 10, 15 yards of grass in front of him, guess what he's doing?
First down.
Exactly. And that changes the way you defend him.
100%. And he's going to be playing against a pretty good secondary in this game who their pass rush hasn't been that great, and they've let up a lot of yards against running quarterbacks this year. So he needs
I'll say
to
this.
run.
I think their pass rush has been very good because they actually led the NFL in sacks. So, but what I think what you mean, though, and what you're getting at, I'll agree with, is that they haven't been very good against mobile quarterbacks. So they get the quarterback if he sits in the pocket. But if you don't sit in the pocket and you move around, they have issues.
100%. They've let up. They're one of the highest teams that let up rushing yards from a quarterback.
Yes, and I think a lot of that is also partially because of the age. I mean, they have some great pass rushers. Look at the age of these guys. You know, Brandon Graham, I feel like he played back with Randall Cunningham, it feels like.
I'm pretty sure he also just applied for his AAP card.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably got it, actually. So, fun fact, you actually don't even need to be a certain age to get that. They'll give it to you no matter what.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, you can get all the discounts, same as the old people. Your senior coffees. But yeah, I mean, you got Fletcher Cox, who's been around forever, and Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph. You know, I mean, the big guy, Hassan Reddick, who obviously has been their sack machine all year long, is pretty decently young as well. But, you know, a lot of these guys are, you know, and it sounds weird to say this. I always feel weird saying it. A lot of these guys are in their 30s. And I say this as the guy, you know, now 40, but, you know, when you're in your 30s in football, you're older. So I think these guys might have trouble running down and chasing after a quarterback, and that's why the numbers show what they show.
Yes, 100%.
So we have another comment here. Sabrina says, I still want the Cowboys to win. Sabrina.
Boo.
Sabrina. No. We want them to lose, and they're going to lose probably. Sorry. But not sorry. But yeah, so I think that's part of the problem. But like I said, they have to keep going. They can't have success rushing the ball with the quarterback and then just stop, because that's what they've been doing, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, DJ also rushed for a lot of yards last game. And Barkley had how many rushes? 9?
So,
for the day?
Barkley had 9 rushes. But you say Jones, he only had 4 rushes that game.
But had a lot of yards. And I'm just saying that Jones running opens up Barkley to run. But having Barkley be dynamic, which is another key, just like we used him and utilized him against Minnesota, put him as a as a receiver, put him up, behind the line, and just use it as a blocker. Just get him in the game and utilize him, because him on the field changes the way the defense looks at the field.
Yeah, again, that's a key to victory, definitely right there. I mean, you got to go ahead and use the weapons we got. And Saquon has been interesting the last couple of weeks because he's not just been, as you said, a running back. He's been a receiver/running back. He's been the dump down threat when there hasn't been somebody open down the field. He's done the things basically that we thought he was going to do most of the year. Because I don't know about you, Rob, I don't want to speak for you in this, but I didn't expect him to be this guy who's going to rush for 16, 1,700 yards, whatever he's on pace for the first half of the season. That's asking too much of a guy who you worry about him getting injured because he's just so important to the team. But this is what I expected of him. A guy that's going to put up 120 yards a game because he's going to do, 80 on the ground and 40 as a receiver.
Yeah, we talked about that when the Giants played the Texans, because he rushed for 22 attempts for 152 yards.
Yep.
So you can't just be doing that to the guy. Have him run right down the middle all the time, just hammering away. Especially like a guy that was injured the past
Yeah.
2 years. So
And
utilize
a
him
guy
in
who
the
counts on
outfield.
his skill, because if he gets a couple more injuries and loses some of that natural ability, that's not going to be good for us.
Yeah, changes the way he plays and his career.
Yeah.
And our wins.
Yeah, which is the key. That's what we're here for in the end, is win. I mean, we want him to succeed, obviously. We want to win, damn it. So I'm going to give you another key to victory on offense. And it's one that I think should be pretty obvious to most people. And I think some people might even be sitting around watching this going, what the hell? Why haven't these guys mentioned this yet? I'm mentioning it now. It's okay. And that is, the offensive line has to block. And that, again, this seems obvious, some of the things we're saying, but this is a team, again, that does good pass rush. This is a team that gets the quarterbacks when they sit in the pocket. And this is a team that gave us fits that first game against them. I'm going to give you an interesting quote, though, that I got today on Evan Neal, our rookie right tackle there, who I honestly, I'm still hoping for great things for this guy. I know he's had a little bit of a rough season, but he's a rookie. This is what he said. He said, "I like to play ball. Talking takes a lot of energy. A lot of time on the field, you're gasping for air as it is. As a big guy, offensive lineman, on a 19-20 play drive, the last thing I'm going to do is talk trash. That's valuable air I could be breathing."
All right, I
He's
like that.
yeah, it's like, he's almost like the anti-Kayvon. Like, Kayvon does the talking for both first-round picks. But I like that mentality because, especially, we already have our trash talker on the offensive line in Nick Gates. You know,
he
we've
does it so
heard before. Yeah, he's gotten guys like Micah Parsons into, penalty situations and all before. And, just by talking the trash he does. Evan Neal needs to focus on just being Evan Neal. And I like that. That's what he's doing. And for a guy to be able to not talk back like that, you know what that tells me? He's in a good place mentally. He's ready to go. Things don't affect him. And that's key with the season he's having as a rookie, because he's having some issues with pass coverage.
Yeah.
But again, he's a rookie. That's to be expected.
And with that kind of mindset, allows him to go to the off-field, work on what didn't work for him, let him be most likely coachable with that kind of mindset, and then come back year two way better and more improved.
Yeah. And that line was pretty good, I thought, last week.
Yeah. They played great as a unit. Like, once again, Neal had some issues, but it wasn't the end of the world.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't a perfect game by any means, but we don't have the offensive line you'd expect to have a perfect game. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not that team that you go, oh my God, look at this, all pro here, all pro there. Like, Andrew Thomas is our stud. Yeah, Andrew Thomas is our stud. Nick Gates is our fan favorite. Evan Neal has got so much potential, it's not even funny. But there's so many guys out there that need some work still. John Feliciano has been average to below average for much of the year. Mark Lewinsky's been a disappointing pickup in free agency overall. And as we said, Evan Neal's had his struggles at times. So it's got to be key for them to get this going and keep this going, what they did last week, because we need a pocket. We've talked about it before. We can't be women's pants. We can't be women's pants. We need pockets.
Where are the industrial cargo pants? That's what we need.
Yeah. And it's going to be fun, I think, to see this as a challenge for the team because, again, they didn't do so well the first time. I want to see how they react now when they get a second crack, since the starters didn't really play last time against them. I want to see what happens here.
Yeah.
We got the women really commenting now. We got them. We need pockets. We have pockets.
They're too small. They're too tight.
It's a weird thing. I think guys don't even realize how little women's pants have pockets. That's why they have purses, because they can't put anything in their pants. So,
if you have pockets, why do I always have to hold your phone?
You fell for it. That's what it is.
Touche.
So, there we go. See? Facts. We got facts. It says facts. So, I'm going to give you guys a final key for victory on my end here. And I'm going to say this point blank. It's a risk to do what I'm about to say. But I still want us to do it. Throw the damn ball down the field. If you look at the numbers we had in the first game, the passing wise, Daniel Jones was 18 to 27. Not a bad percentage overall. But 18 completions, he had 169 yards. That's it. That's not a lot. And I understand that between Slay and Bradbury, they got two great corners that you worry about. You can't win by playing it safe against the Eagles. You can't. Unless they have an off night, like what they had against the Commanders or against the Colts, they do that from time to time. But if they're out in their game and A.J. Brown's doing his thing, you have to throw the ball down the field. You have to try to compete a little. And I'm not saying every single play has to be a 30-yard chuck down the field, but you have to take your shots when you can take your shots.
I agree. They have to utilize the opportunities when they have it. Like when they played Minnesota and other times they've done it, when they throw on first down instead of run, their completion rating is almost double compared to that run for a first down. So take advantage of that because they know what we have in Barkley. They know what they have in DJ. They know that we're going to run the ball. So you got to mix it up, throw the ball, get some deep threats in there, set up your run game a little more, and then, like we talked about earlier, go right back to the run, go back to the pass.
Yep.
Like let's keep this defense on their feet.
Exactly. You can do like a run for Barkley, a QB sneak by Jones. Short pass to Bellinger, and then you can just say, what, screw it, throw it down to Slate, and let's see what happens. I'm not saying do it every play, but you got to do it every so often. You can't be afraid of this team. You don't win by being afraid, and that's not the way the Giants have played all season. Start off with that first game going for the victory on the final play of the offense, at least, for that 2-point conversion against the Titans. We win this year because we're ballsy. We're day ballsy, okay?
Yeah.
Like we go after...
Ballsy.
We got brass ballsy here at that point from brass Dayballs here. I mean, it's like you have to take your shots. And I do think they're going to do that because I think they're going to realize they have to. But I'm hoping it doesn't take them, halfway through the game to realize that they're not going to win by playing conservative. You got to go aggressive. Yeah. You got to go for it. And you got to hope that DJ is legit and what he's done lately is legit. And the only way you find that out is going for it.
Yeah, 100%. And also, cornerback Avonte Maddox for Philadelphia did not practice on Tuesday because of his toe. Yeah. He also did not play Week 18, or he left the game Week 18. If he doesn't play, we need to take advantage of that.
Yep.
100%. Like, that's their number one cornerback.
For the slot.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the slot. Which means Hodgins should have a great day.
Well, that'd be James. Richie James.
Yeah.
So, I mean... Yeah, you got to take advantage. Whenever there's an injury, you got to take full advantage of that. So, go for it. Especially because Richie James, as much as we all hated him after the Seattle game, let's be honest, everybody hated him. We all went a little Monday morning quarterback crazy because he had 2 fumbles. As a receiver, he's been very good, much more than I think any of us ever expected. That's for sure. I mean, you're talking about a guy who came in out of nowhere, basically. It was like an afterthought in the during the preseason, during the the off season even, and he comes in now, and he's got 560 yards on the regular season. That's very respectful from a guy that you expected to basically ride your bench as a 6th or 7th receiver. Basically, that was more on there for his punt catching abilities, ironically enough, after his fumbles, but. I expect to see him have a good game because of that. I really do, and because even if even if Maddox does play, he's gonna be not fully there because of the fact he's got an injury there. I don't care what kind of guy you are. You want to play because it's the playoffs. You have an injury, it's still going to affect you somewhat. To what level, who knows? But even if you're 90%, I'll take any advantage I can get because it's the Eagles. I want to beat the crud out of them because. We owe them.
I mean, it's not like a shoulder injury; it's a toe injury, so it's going to affect his running. So, take advantage.
Exactly, take advantage. So, any other keys to victory that you want to give for the offense there, Rob?
For the offense, we all just got to come together, play as a unit. Don't make mistakes. That's the overall key. That's one of those master keys that we talked about earlier. Don't make mistakes.
Exactly. I mean, the big thing is you're talking mistakes is the turnovers. We can't have turnovers. If we have turnovers, we're done. Right then and there, we're done. So we got to keep the ball secure. We got to not have a game like we had against the Vikings the first time, where we had those couple of turnovers there, because this is going to be, I think, a closer game than some people even think. But in the end, we got to go ahead and play a smart football game, play a game where we don't make these kind of mistakes. But it's weird because we also have to be aggressive. That's a very hard combo to get going.
It is, but I have trust in our coaching staff to be creative. Don't make a mistake.
Our prior coaches gave us trust issues, but now we've come across them. Dable's been patient with us.
Joe judged my judgment.
Yes, and McAdoo with his Macastache.
McAdoo.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then Pat Shurmur. Oh my God. That was just proof positive. He was like the 7th guy we actually wanted for the job. Nobody wanted it. Let's be honest. Nobody wanted the job then. So, but yeah. So like I said, we finally have a good one though, and yeah, we have to trust that we're gonna see some good stuff from the coaching staff there. They're gonna be aggressive, but they're gonna make sure we keep the ball in our hands at that point, and put the offense in a spot to go ahead and help the defense succeed in what's going to be a tough task for them. And that's what we're going to go over with you guys next time, is we're going to go over the keys to victory for the defense. And then after that, the following episode after that, we're going to give you guys our final predictions. We're going to go ahead and give you guys also the final injury report as well for the episode that will drop here for you guys probably Friday night, Saturday morning. And if you want to know more about as far as the other games that are going on this weekend as well, if you go over to the podcast side, because like I said, guys, before, this is our very first video. So if you're watching this on video, go on to Apple Podcasts, go on to Spotify, go on to pretty much any platform you're using. Subscribe first off, because we appreciate that. It makes us very, very happy.
So nice.
Yes, so nice. And then go ahead and also give us the listen on the games for the rest of the weekend as well, because there's a lot of games this weekend here, so there's still 4. And this is the last week that there'll still be 4 games, keep in mind, because we're down to 2 the following week, and then 1. And then 1 again, if we want to count the Pro Bowl. I don't know if we count that as a legit game, but so, like I said, make sure you guys, if you haven't liked this page, whatever page you're watching it on, whether it be Facebook, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Twitter, or if you're listening to us on a podcast, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on there. So like I said, it means a lot to us. It, keeps us going, fuels the fire, so to speak there. Fire. Oh, did we go like Metallica on me there? Ooh.
I did.
I see what you did. Ooh. So, and here's another question we got here from Sabrina. Are you two going to keep going in the off season? Yes, we are. I don't care win, lose, or draw in this game. I guess not draw. It's the postseason.
Yeah,
we will continue. Can't make that mistake again, right, Commanders? So we will definitely keep on going all the time there. So this 52 weeks of the year we'll be going. There's always stuff to talk about, guys. So, but here's the great thing is, hopefully we don't have to worry about that for a couple weeks. That'd be nice.
Very nice. Super Bowl run.
Exactly. And again, guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons you can, unless there's a dislike button. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So, as always, guys, go G-Men!
Go G-Men!
Go G-Men!
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 G-Men in tights.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?